Hey, what's up guys, it's Gage from ARG, and today we're going to be finally able to go over all these brand new Cosmos we have leaked to us for here in the TCG. The brand new set's coming out, I think, like, actually just next week, Shining Victories. No, the sneak peek is this weekend, which is super exciting because now we finally have all the rarities leaked to us, which I'm not going to really go over. That's a list you guys can find on your own. There's really not too much to say on it, but I do have some thoughts I want to voice about this brand new Kozmo Support, as well as a couple other cards that were leaked to be TCG World Premieres. So I'm going to start off good. I know I'm a little bit late on this again, but the thing is I just came back from ARG Pittsburgh. Want to take a moment to lay back and everything, but now we're going to get back on track. Got a lot of news to share with you guys. So let's kick it off good with this brand new Kozmo Support. I'm going to go through each of them, and we're just going to talk about them really quickly. So we have Cosmo Dark Planet as a level 10 Dark Machine type effect monster. 4,000 attack, 4,000 defense. This thing is huge. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by banishing Cosmo monsters from your hand whose levels equals 10 or more, and can not be special summoned by other means. Cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. During either player's turn, when a spell card is activated, you can banish one Cosmo monster from your graveyard, negate that activation, and if you do, destroy that card. If this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one level 9 or lower Cosmo monster from your deck to your hand. A lot of people are absolutely going nuts over this card, Cosmo Dark Planet, but to me, this card's just, it's only okay, which sounds kind of weird, but let me just kind of go through it. But this card here, I feel like it's very awkward because it's the only giant card, as opposed to like Dark Eclipser, Dark Destroyer, and all of them. It's the only one that has to be special summoned from your hand by an obscure kind of means, and that's banishing monsters whose level equals 10 or more, which might not seem that difficult, but you're going to have to literally banish 2 Cosmo monsters from your hands, expelling 2 potential resources from your hands. Most ideally, you would want to do maybe like the Lion dude, which is in here later, which we'll go over. The Lion plus even just a Dark Destroyer. That's 10 exactly. But the thing is, you actually want to keep Lion. So maybe there's some other combinations that are better to go through, but you're instantly expelling 2 resources from your hand that the only means you can get them back with is with a Cosmo Town if you just so happen to have it. So I feel like this way of summoning it is a lot more awkward, considering all the other Cosmo monsters are able to be summoned by using the Cosmo monster on the field to banish it and special summon it, which is kind of the way everything is kind of ruled now, and that's what really makes Cosmo good and unique. So this card's kind of just different on its own. I feel like that's a really steep cost to summon this thing, and for it to actually have the thing where it has to be, when a spell card is activated, banish one Cosmo monster in your graveyard and negate the activation. Again, that's really picky for how hard this thing is to summon. Considering you have to have Cosmo monsters in your graveyard as well, you're already banishing 2 just to be able to drop this thing, which that's so huge. The thing is you can actually, if you have the most ideal hand, which in my opinion would probably be something like the Dark Planet, 2 Cosmo monsters to pitch for it, as well as a Lion, you can actually go Planet into banishing those 2, and then go Lion, and then bringing those 2 back to the graveyard to be able to make Dark Planet live. But unless you have a super ideal hand like that, this card outside turn 1 is only mediocre. Well, okay, no, it's still good. A 4,000 party that can't be targeted will probably always be good. But, I mean, having this card being able to drop it 1 turn would be the most ideal time to kind of window drop it, and then just completely make your opponent cry not being able to play the game. But again, you have to have a very specific kind of combo of cards to be able to make it live, as well as being able to drop it turn 1, and it requires a lot of resources. A lot of people are going nuts over it, but again, I don't think it's that fantastic. I think the card's pretty cool and everything, but as far as all the other kind of Cosmo cards we have, just the way they synergize with the monsters on the field makes them infinitely better, I like to think, than Cosmo Dark Planet. But I do like the card design and everything. I'm glad they made it extremely fair, as opposed to making it completely broken. As like if they synergize with that of the on-field effects, then we'd be in some deep shit. But no, now we have Cosmo Dark Planet. It's okay. I like it a lot though. The artwork looks really cool. Then we have one that I actually think is a lot better, which is Cosmo Dark Lady, which is a level 5 Dark Psychic type effect monster. 2,200 attack, 1,800 defense. During either player's turn, you can banish this card, special summon 1 level 6 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Cosmo Dark Lady once per turn. Once per turn during either player's turn, when another monster's effect is activated, you can can pay 1,000 life points, negate that activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. This card here I like a lot. I like how it's really in between the fact of being a really good ship as well as a really good monster. I mean, it has kind of the best of both worlds, if you ask me. This is like the ideal middle ground for the deck. Having a card that it can simultaneously tag itself out just in case something gets a little hairy, but having literally one of the best kind of monster effects, and the fact that it can negate any monster effect that's activated at the cost of 1,000 life points is extremely powerful, and I like that a lot. It makes it very flexible of a card, as opposed to having, you know, a ship like a Slip Rider or something being able to, of course, disrupt a back row card or disrupt a spell or trap, face up spell or trap like a Pendulum Zone or something that might be important. But it doesn't really do anything until your opponent interacts with it. This card kind of has the best of both worlds, where it stops your opponent from interacting with things, and then it also allows you to continue your game state. If they do interact some way to kind of get rid of it, you're able to also use it and utilize it to bring out something like a big ship to, again, further push out that kind of a disruption. I think that's the word I was looking for. So I really like Cosmo Dark Lady. I think it's a really, really great card. I think this is going to be one played more often actually than that of the Dark Planet. I'm seeing people maybe play one copy of Dark Planet, but I actually think I wouldn't be surprised if I don't see people play it at all. But this is definitely an auto include for pretty much all Cosmo deck, I like to think. So I really like Dark Lady a lot. And then we move on to another one which is really good, which is Cosmo Fearful Line. It actually pairs really well with the Dark Planet, and I was talking about the combos before with it. But let me just read you guys through it, and I'll kind of explain. It's a level 2 light psychic type effect monster, 1200 attack, 5000 defense, 500 defense, 5000 would be huge. During either player's turn, you can banish this card, special summon one level 3 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Cosmo Fearful Lion once per turn. Once per turn, you can pay 500 life points, then target 3 of your banished Cosmo monsters, return them to the graveyard, and if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So the only other one we have to really grab things from the banish zone and be able to utilize them is that of Strawman. But now we have Fearful Lion to be able to interact, but I feel Fearful Lion kind of has better interaction if you're playing a more Sword Troopers type of build, or a build with, again, a Dark Planet. Being able to combo it off like that turn 1 to be able to make Dark Planet immediately live, or also being able to kind of utilize it with Sword Troopers to get cards in the graveyard and allow Sword Troopers to bring them back, I think it's good. But if you just want to play a build that utilizes more, just like, I think, more common builds right now, if you want to keep sticking with that, I would definitely think Strawman would be your much better choice over Fearful Lion. But again, if you're playing the very niche build that wants to focus on Dark Planet and everything, Fearful Lion is going to be your go-to for that, because that's a really actually good effect too. The inflicting damage, it's only 500, it's not that completely irrelevant. So but the irrelevant thing is getting them from your banish to your graveyard, and how that kind of interacts with some other decks. Again, I just think like the more common build now that people are playing is a lot better, and the card that really helps that out is Dark Lady. But other than that, I don't think the Dark Planet or the Fearful Line will see too much incredible play. Maybe that's just me. And then they have a trap card too, which is Cosmo Morning, which is a continuous trap card. Monsters destroyed in battle by Cosmo monsters you control are shuffled into the deck instead of being sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard this turn. The first time you would take battle damage from a battle involving a Cosmo monster you control, you gain that much life points instead. Oh, I think this is actually really cool. But the only thing is this card's very, very niche. Monsters destroyed by battle. That's like a really, really specific card. If this was just monsters destroyed by Cosmo monsters you control are shuffled into the deck, yo, that'd be pretty much insane, because that means cards like Dark Destroyer, rather than just destroying and sending to the graveyard, it's destroyed, shuffled the deck, and that's pretty awesome. But I mean, I don't think this card's that actually fantastic at all. I think it's really neat, and it was just really close to being actually playable. But the thing is it just it requires monsters to be destroyed by Cosmo monster control to be shuffled in the deck. I think that's really, really niche, and I think this card's just going to get Twin Twistered out of the way before you get the chance to actually use it. Its graveyard effect isn't also that fantastic. You gaining life points is pretty cool, I guess, but you're going to have to get this thing into the graveyard first, and that's not exactly the easiest thing in the world. So I don't really like Cosmo Morning. I don't think a lot of people do. I'd rather just stick with a card like Cosmo Joe if you're looking for a card that has a lot of potential as a Cosmo Trap. But Cosmo Morning, it is what it is. I mean, the artwork looks nice. The artwork's up here too, up close. Looks really sweet. But let's move on to the last card we have. This was actually leaked separately, but it is Kozmo Walker, 2400 attack, 1200 defense, dark machine type monster, level 6. If one or more of your Cosmo monsters would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy a different Cosmo card you control instead. This card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard. You can banish this card, special summon one level 5 or lower Cosmo monster from your deck. I like this card a lot because I like to think it's a lot more interesting. If you drop this onto a board and your opponent activates Raigeki, as stupid as that sounds, you can actually just destroy Walker himself and then protect the rest of your Cosmo monsters, which is pretty dope. But also, this card actually allows you to destroy the field spell card, which is really neat. So if you have Walker on field and your opponent would destroy a Cosmo monster by some mean, I'd like to think, then you can actually just destroy your field spell and then trigger your field spell and everything too. So the Cosmo Walker has a really interesting kind of playability to it. Will you see it a lot though? I don't know. I like to think the Cosmo deck likes to be more aggressive and everything, so having it kind of just sit back and chill, and I guess having a way to protect yourself against massive board wipe or something is neat and everything. I mean, if your opponent goes Abyss Dweller, activate Dark Hole, they're in for a bad time with Walker here. But outside that, I mean, I don't think really Walker has too much use besides those, I like to think those specific situations when you're playing around a board wipe or something, then Cosmo Walker is your time to shine there. But other than that, as when it comes to just removing things, it's Cosmos are very hard to destroy necessarily. You're going to be finding a way to remove them by sending them back to the deck, or just sending them to the or banishing them or something like that, rather than destroying them, because that just doesn't seem too ethical. But against massive board wipe, I guess this card's okay. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of all the Kozmo support and everything. Do you think it's pretty hot? I think we're going to definitely see some cards really pop out here. These are going to be super expensive. Walker, Dark Lady, you'll see these things a lot at sneak peek pricing, but I wouldn't buy into Dark Planet if I were you. I'd try to stay away from that, but if you can find Dark Lady for a cheap price, I'd definitely pick this girl up. And that's just my thoughts about it, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. Do you guys think everything's absolutely insane? I just want to know. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like the video, thumbs up the video, how much you enjoyed the video. If you guys want to buy or sell products, if you want to 10 high events, and if you want to read articles from the top of players, allsreadygames.com, please go check out. Be sure to like our Facebook fan page and subscribe to our Twitch stream if you haven't already. But as always, I thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Gage from ARG, signing out.